Hello and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
A very good morning to you. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, there's a lot to talk about this morning, so let's just start you off with the news making the rounds from this part of the world. Let's talk about basketball and talk about these girls you have in your picture, MFN Queens. Stand test for them today. They'll be coming up against Sporting Club of Egypt. This is wishing all the girls all the best as they try to get one over the Egyptians.
Absolutely, that's what they will try to do tonight when they face that particular stand test. Also on the program, Arsenal finally won a game. Freddie Ljungberg is the one that is really happy right now because he says he will be taking it game by game. But for Manuel Pellegrini, well, more like should be worried about relegation right now.
All right, well, two different stories in that one. Of course, Freddie Ljungberg is also saying that he's not ruling out a top four finish. That's what victory can do for you in the English Premier League. We'll talk about that later on and see if our guests agree with the assertion of Freddie Ljungberg. But as we move on, let's talk about this one. We go to basketball and talk about what's going on. Cecilia loves this guy, and a lot of guys love him as well. The Bucks extending their winning streak in the NBA, and of course, all on the shoulders of Giannis Antetokounmpo, did a lot to ensure that the winning streak for the Milwaukee Bucks extends in the NBA. And that's how we start the show today, Cecilia.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we're starting from, talking about the NBA. But then before we talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo, let's talk about other games last night, starting with this very big one between the Lakers. The Clippers, yeah, we had the Clippers were on the 90. Clippers and the Indiana Pacers. It was 110 and 99. In that particular one, Paul George was the one. He was on fire. He gave them something to really cheer. 110 and 99 on the night. But then Paul George was able to put up some big numbers for his team. Also, the Cavs and the Celtics were also in action. It was Celtics who won that one, 110-88. Another game on the night was the Kings and the Rockets. This one, a lot of talking points from this particular game, where you have Russell Westbrook was the one who was the star on the night. But then the Rockets suffered that
for the second
buzzer
time,
beating. Yeah,
for the second time, issues about points that shouldn't count, that counted. I mean, we'll talk more about that later on.
Yeah, absolutely. That point they said, but Russell Westbrook put up about 34 points and 8 assists in that one, but then that wasn't enough for them to get a win in that particular game. Another game on the night was also the Pistons and the Pelicans. You have the Raptors and the Bulls, Timberwolves and Phoenix Suns. For Timberwolves, it was a good performance for them, but it just wasn't enough on the Karl Anthony Towns. How do you put up 33 points, 15 rebounds, and 2 assists and still end up on the losing side? Josh Okogie, our Nigerian guy, had 8 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals in that game also. The last time he had about 18 points, but then this time around they just couldn't, put up big numbers to be able to beat the Phoenix Suns, who have Devin Booker scoring as much as 26 points. Kelly Oubre also adding 24 points on his 24th birthday. But that was all the Phoenix Suns needed for them to be able to get the better one over the Wolves. For the Grizzlies and the Warriors, their losing streaks continue. You can imagine these guys were just champions some time ago, 2 seasons ago. But right now, it's looking really woeful for them, having the worst NBA record currently this season. Grizzlies and the Warriors was 110 and 102. Now, let's talk about the game on the night, the one you've been really eager to talk about, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and also, the Milwaukee Bucks, how they were able to get something off the hook. If you can see pictures coming from that game, the game between the Bucks, and also that particular game, the way it all pans out with Giannis, reigning MVP, scoring
against the Orlando
2
Magic.
points against Orlando Magic.
I mean, his consistency is mind-blowing. Milwaukee Bucks, solid side, but they're driven by the efforts, Giannis puts into most of his game. And this picture that you have on screen typifies what I'm saying. That leap, that attacking the basket. Yeah. I mean, a little, if I can use a football term, step overs, just changing the ball from one hand to the other and just getting past the defenders with relative ease. That's just typical of Giannis Antetokounmpo. And in this game, 32 points and helped his team in no small way to extend their winning run.
Absolutely. Chris Middleton also added 20 points, and they improved their record this season to 21-3. That's 15 in a row right now. That's how the Bucks are actually running this team, which is a spectacular one for this team, because if you're looking at the team from the East that would definitely be in the playoffs, of course, is the Milwaukee Bucks, but can they get to the championship side? That's the big question right now.
Always the big question. Time will tell. But as far as what we're seeing goes, this is very, very solid.
Yeah, absolutely. It's solid. Now let's take a look at the big numbers on the night, the players who put up big numbers on the night to ensure that their team won. Giannis, of course, is number one. He put up 32 points, a double-double for him on the night, rebounds 15 and assists. He put up 8 numbers for his team to extend their winning run to 15 right now. Remember some time ago they had 18, that's like so many years back. But right now it's 15 for them, so they're having a good record right now. And the next player we're going to be talking about is Paul George. Yes, Paul George, he was able to help Clippers, despite the fact that they didn't have a Kawhi Leonard on the night, but they were able to pull one against the Indiana Pacers, and he was the one, who had a better one, 36 points. I mean, there was boost from his former teams, Indiana Pacers and all that, who traded him, some time ago to Oklahoma City Thunder in 2007. But then it doesn't really matter. This guy had to put up the numbers against his former side to get this particular victory. So he finished the season high of 7 3-pointers. So for the Clippers right now, it's 18-7. So it's a good one for the Clippers. Also, another player on the score today is Russell Westbrook. I mean, that's the game you were eager to talk about because of the buzzer beating loss. 119-118 is very painful.
I'm scratching my head.
Just taking that.
I'm scratching my head, really. And if you're a fan of this team, of the Rockets, you begin to say, why me? Why us? What's going on? But it's the nature of the game. Makes the game enjoyable. By the way, the protest that this guy, they stayed the protest after that game, the NBA said, no, we're having none of it. The score starts. But for Russell, good performance on the night. 34 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists. He's in a team that I think is doing well with Clint Capella and the Beard. That combination and a whole lot of guys, combining well. Losses will come on the road, surely. It will come. But believe me, this is a solid side. And I'm very happy that they too, one way or the other, the top stars are gelling. Not one person is having to sacrifice his game for the other. And I like that.
Yeah, that's one thing about the Rockets, Houston Rockets this season. But then losing by 1 point and with some calls you're not happy with is really, really painful. Now, Kyle Anthony Towns is another player. 33 points, 15 rebounds and 2 assists. He's also on the losing side, just like Russell Westbrook. His numbers was not just enough for the Timberwolves to be able to beat the Phoenix Suns on the night. But look at the scoreline, which was really huge and big, so to speak. You will know that the Suns were really to do something really remarkable. But then, well, good one for them. Josh Okojo, we mentioned him earlier, just 8 points for his team also. So that wasn't enough for Timberwolves to win their game on the night. Okay, let's leave the NBA now and talk about
still on basketball.
On basketball, but then we'll come to Africa, precisely in Egypt, where you have the FIBA Africa Women's Champions Cup. This is going on. We mentioned it yesterday that we have just one representative because the other one, Air Warriors, couldn't travel simply because, well, the usual, no funds for the team. It's privately owned, remember, so it's not government owned. Most of the basketball clubs are privately owned and all that, but then they just couldn't get enough money. I was thinking just maybe the Air Force might bring in some money, but then they said it's owned by an individual. They couldn't travel. But the thing is, MFM, the one-year opening game, the second one, they lost to Inter Club. I mean, champions, they've won the cup 5 times, so no surprise about that. But their third game is going to be tonight, 8 p.m. Nigerian time, so it's going to be a tough one for these particular girls. Let's just take a look at the fixtures for
against
today.
the home side.
Yeah.
You see, I'm already shaking my head. I know how tough, how tight it's going to be. And you look at the fixtures, of course, a lot of interesting fixtures.
Yeah.
Our own, the MFM Queens basketball team, that's the last fixture on your screen against Sporting, who will be supported by a very partisan crowd. And I just hope that the girls will be able to have the stamina, have you know, the presence of mind, not to allow the occasion to be bigger than them. And that's why we've called it the Stern test. I'm hoping this game doesn't turn out to be a blowout. I'm hoping the girls, one way or the other, might be able to dig out something. But I admit that it's really a tough task.
Yeah, it is a tough one. But I'll draw inspiration from their opening game against the team from Benin Republic.
Margin of victory.
46-point victory and all that. But against Interclub, it was 36 points. I mean, it was the other way around that they suffered in that one. The gap was a bit huge. But against Sporting, as you mentioned earlier, the home crowd is going to be behind them. The Egyptian side, they're hosting. And everyone will also want to see what they've been doing. But then if you check Sporting and MFM, they're actually almost the same way. Because Sporting may be second, but then they just have just 3 points. Same with MFM. They've won one game, lost one. So they understand that the final group game today
very crucial.
Is also crucial. So they have to win to see if they can really move ahead. For MFM, they've got some of their players cleared. That's the issues they had before. So maybe experience will also come here. Some of their experienced players are joining them. Two have been cleared. Just maybe, hopefully, if more players are cleared, then they might just have the full capacity of all the players. They can be able to get one over this one. If they're able to win tonight, then to be a good one for this team.
Of course, it will be something
they're
to
making
celebrate.
their debut, remember?
It's,
on the continent.
How many years ago was this team formed? And
Like
they're
3
here.
years ago, yeah.
They're mixing it with the big girls.
Yes.
I mean, it's something commendable.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's going to be big news for me. It's going to be big news. It's going to be headline grabbing if they're able to win this game. Fingers crossed, we'll see what happens in this one with the MFM Queens. That's it.